Be ready, 10 seconds to go. Start. In other words, if the argument of the appellant therein was accepted, it could have resulted in confining the transfer of the raw material from the ship by pipeline to the port area, but it could not be taken to a refinery located outside the port area. But the provision did contemplate transporting of the material from the ship to the refineries as also to terminals and vice versa. It was in this context that the court proceeded to hold that a purposive construction was needed to avoid a situation of absurdity. Much turned on the presence of the words in the port area. Therefore, keeping in mind the clear object of the notification, which was self evident, the court added the words or through to the words in the port area. This facilitated the transfer of the raw material from the ships to a refinery or a terminal, which need not have to be located in the port area. We must understand the decision of this court in the aforesaid context. The rationale and principle appear in opposite to the cases before us. We also do bear in mind that in paragraph 8, first, construction of pipelines inter alia was permitted. It is thereafter that in paragraph 8, second, under CRZ second, clause 6th, contemplated permitting of storage of non-hazardous cargo such as edible oil, fertilizers and food grain in notified ports. We may broaden our inquiry into the relevant contents of CRZ 3rd. CRZ 3rd of the 2011 notification was divided into Area A, which inter alia dealt with areas up to 200 meters from HTL on the landward side in the case of seafront. The said clause proclaimed further that the said area would be a no development zone. We noticed that in CRZ 3rd, the NDZ was not to be applicable in such areas within any port limits. Thus, the expression within made its appearance in relation to notified ports limits again. In the permitted activities in the NDZ under area A viz up to 200 meters as aforesaid, we find clause E, which permitted facilities for receipt and storage of petroleum products and liquefied petroleum gas as specified in Annexure 2nd. Area B of CRZ 3rd is described as the area comprised from 200 meters to 500 meters. Under the same, we notice that again facilities for receipt and storage of petroleum products and liquefied natural gas as specified in Annexure 2 was permitted. We may bear in mind that the very same activity had also been contemplated in Area A of CRZ third, viz. The area comprised 200 meters of the high tide line of the landward area in the case of the seafront inter alia. Interestingly, when it comes to storage of non hazardous cargo such as edible oils, fertilizers, and food grain in the notified ports, it was permitted activity in Area B of CRZ 3rd under Clause 4 thereof, that is, an area located between 200 meters to 500 meters. It must be noticed that CRZ third had been classified in paragraph 7 essentially as relatively undisturbed area which did not belong to either CRZ first or second, which included the coastal zone in rural areas, both developed and undeveloped, and also areas within municipal limits or in other legally designated urban areas which were not substantially built up. We have already noticed the classification of CRZ second earlier as areas which had been developed up to or close to the shoreline. Can it then be said that storage of non hazardous cargo such as edible oil, fertilizers, food grain permitted in the notified ports in CRZ 3rd Area B be also permitted in CRZ 3rd Area A? Going by the contents of CRZ 3rd under activities which were permitted in the NDZ, we are unable to find any clause which permitted such storage of non hazardous cargo, including edible oil inter alia. Therefore, in the NDZ area falling under Area A of CRZ 3rd, it may have been impermissible. We have made this discussion only to remind ourselves that in interpretation of the notification, we are concerned with a pursuit of a purposive interpretation or a search for a rationale which the court finds fair may meet with limitations which flow from the object of the maker of the notification being confined to the plain meaning of the words used. No doubt, a situation found in the facts of the case reported in May call for a different approach, reverting back to the controversy projected from the difference between the words within and in. We may notice the following discussion of the NGT, which is a specialized body consisting of a judicial member and a technical member in a statutory appeal under the Act in Compact Oxford English Dictionary. Stop.